Hello my fellow foreigners, my name is Nazar and I will explain Ukraine to you. It has been a month and a half of Ukrainian-Russian war already.
Every day our people paying by our blood.
But some people still call Russian invasion into Ukraine Ukrainian crisis instead of calling it a war.
Crisis in Ukraine.
That this growing crisis was not just about Ukraine.
Crisis in Ukraine.
On the escalating crisis.
Guys, a crisis is when diarrhea attacks you with no toilet around. But when a Russian soldier organized mass killings of civilians, it is called war crimes, which happened, during the war. Hey, we are talking here about the largest conventional military attack in Europe since the World War II. And calling it a crisis is the same like saying that these tanks are not burnt, they just faded. And these guys are not dead, they're just tired.
You know what they call a quarter pounder with cheese in Paris?
And what do they call it?
They call it Royale with cheese.
Royale with cheese.
And please don't forget that one of the apocalypse horsemen is called war, not a crisis. And you know who's not also calling Russian invasion in Ukraine a war? This piece of shit. Russians are calling this war a special military operation. Not calling a war by its name is a favorite trick of Russian propaganda. You know how they called the first Chechen war? Operation on Restoration of Constitutional Order. And the second war in Chechnya was called a counter-terrorist operation in Caucasus. And the war in Georgia in 2008 was ironically called the Operation on Peace Enforcement of Georgia. You know that the Russians have been stubbornly organizing wars around the world to enforce peace. You know the old saying that organizing a war to preserve peace is the same like having sex to preserve virginity. Yeah, apart from not calling a war by its name, the other proud tradition of Russians is to claim that they are fighting for liberation and peace. But it remains unclear why they always end up with mass raping and killing of people they were supposed to bring peace and liberation to. You know the old saying, give man a fish and he'll be full for a day. But give Russian a machine gun and he will organize a genocide in the name of peace and liberation. So remember, it's not your private parts you're talking about. Call Russian invasion into Ukraine a war. Don't be shy.
So say it.
Say what?
Say the word you want to say.
I'm not saying that I want to say it, I'm just saying that I can't.
Sure you can. Say it. Say it right now.
It is a really bloody war in the center of Europe in the 21st century. And if all civilized world shall not help Ukrainians to stop Putin, this war could lead to, as some people like to put it, nuclear world crisis 3. Guys, words do matter. And every time you are calling this war a crisis, you are playing for Team Putin. And next time when somebody will call it a crisis or will propose to listen to the other part of the story, just ask them to Google Bucha massacre. Or you can find a link to information about this genocide act of Russian soldiers made in Ukraine in the description to this video. But be careful, do not watch it before sleep, because some pictures you will never forget. So at least what you can do to prevent such horrible tragedies is not calling this war a crisis. Because remember what they say about the devil.
The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist.
Dear human beings around the world, if you want to help Ukrainians who are currently suffering from this bloody war, you can find the details of the humanitarian organizations in the description. You can also help Ukrainian army by donating to their official account. Information about this account is also in the description. Slava Ukraini!